I'm certain that it was influenced by the people, because I was around those guys that you just spoke of. We were all listening to the same stuff, I'm sure. But it was also influenced from David Geffen, who when he signed me, no one had really known what to do with me. They hear me talk and they say, "Well, you're country," but I was really more of a singer-songwriter, and my songs didn't fit in a traditional country and western mode at that time. And David Geffen, when he signed me, just said, "I like what you do. You just go do it. I won't tell you what kind of music to write. I will just, when you hand it to me, I will market it." And so I just wrote whatever came through my head. And in the case of Nothing But the Truth, that was what came through my head. And Finish Lines was a little more complicated in that I was writing those songs and the songs that were on the album Simple Life at the same time, really, and they were so different that I sort of separated, as opposed to making two albums that were a little bit country and a little bit pop. We just sort of separated the two things and made the more rural record out of Simple Life and the more sort of urban pop record from Finish Lines. And I had a producer who had taken the budget from David Geffen and spent all the money, and we had no money to make Finish Line, so I had to play everything. I had to play all the instruments, and I had to learn. I'd never fooled with sequencers and that sort of thing before, but that was the only way I could record that album, is if I did everything pretty much. I had a couple of friends who played a part for me, but for the most part, that was just me and Alan Schulman, my engineer that I've worked with for a long time. We basically made that record by ourselves, and so it probably sounds a little bit more sequence programmed than I would have had it in my head. There was just no other way to get it recorded. And for those of you who would be writers and creative people, getting it out of our head is kind of the primary drive in the creative process. You want these songs out of your head so you can remember what else you need to do in your life. Take out the garbage, take the kids to school. That's, if the songs are in your head and stuck, you can't get anything else done. So Finish Lines, although I'm proud of the record and what we went through to get it accomplished, it's probably a different record than it would have been had we actually had a recording budget.
And do you know about this?
I have no idea. No, I'm very insulated, and I'm constantly surprised that anyone that's not my cousin wants to hear me sing. and in fact, none of my cousins actually do want to hear me sing. So, and I make light, but I come from farmers in Mississippi, and and we were all brought up that it's not a good character trait to call attention to yourself. That's you go about your business humbly, and no one is better than anybody else, and that's very deep in my, and I actually agree with that. I don't think we benefit by putting people on pedestals or from being on a pedestal. So I look at the entertainment business probably differently than most people, because it's a business of putting people on pedestals and then knocking them off, and I don't particularly like that process, but that's another way that I'm blessed, because I never was all the way up on top of a big pedestal. I wouldn't have been comfortable up there, but consequently I've been able to do what I love for a long time. Whereas if I'd been a huge success when It's a Crazy World came out, I was a moderate success. But if I'd been a giant success, I would be spoken of in past tense now, and nobody would be interested in what I'm doing. And now there's a few people interested in what I'm doing. Apparently, a couple of guys in France. I had no idea. I'm grateful. Merci.